Welcome to the Planet MicroCap Showcase Virtual 2022. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and now presenting at our event is Ron Levy. He's the CEO of the Crypto Company. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is CRCW on the OTCQB. And with that, Ron, take it away.
Thank you for that, Robert. And thank you all for taking your time here. I really appreciate it. As Robert said, my name is Ron Levy. I am CEO of the Crypto Company. We trade on the OTCQB, and the ticker symbol is CRCW. And I'm excited to share who we are and what we do with you, and a little bit on our industry, which I believe is doesn't get more exciting than this one. And I guess with that, I'll jump right into the elephant in the room, FTX. Or we can talk about FTX, Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, Luna. Let's just say it's been a very cleansing year in the crypto space this year. Well, it's important to know that the Crypto Company was not directly affected by these infamous meltdowns this year. Do know that. But here's why we weren't directly affected by the pain in the industry. While the masses think of crypto in relation to cryptocurrencies, the Crypto Company is focused on the power of blockchain and crypto uses that are well beyond cryptocurrencies. And we'll do a bit more on that in a little bit. But before we leave FTX, I just want to clarify for those that maybe haven't put the time into it yet, and I would understand that, blockchain did not fail here. Decentralization that blockchain enables did not fail here. Cryptocurrencies did not fail here. This was a failure of a centralized company that was run by a person/people that did whatever acts they did. If they turned out to be bad actors and did bad deeds, that was the failing. They happened to be working in our industry. Certainly with the power of the internet and the population of crypto, if someone's a bad actor, it gives them a very large target. But make no mistake, blockchain not only wasn't the problem, there's an argument to say it was the reason the problem didn't go on much longer and the pain wasn't a lot deeper, even though we're going to be seeing layers of this onion peel off for a very long time. So our main business line is education, training, and certifications. We train Fortune 500 companies, government agencies, and individuals. Some client examples for our Fortune 500 companies: Microsoft, Disney, IBM, Deloitte, Citi, Merck, Ernst & Young. For government agencies, we've trained the FDA, we've trained the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, we train the Veterans Administration. As far as training individuals, we've trained over 150,000. And I believe we're second to none when it comes to these training credentials. By the way, many of these enterprises, the government agencies and the individuals, have come back numerous times for additional training after experiencing the quality of the education that we deliver. And since there's no one else to say it here, I'm going to say it. We are all about the quality, and I think that no one even comes close. It's pretty spectacular, which is why we have so many people return for next level. I think it's important to understand that we train enterprises and governments. We can put them in this bucket, and we train individuals. And within both of those buckets, we have online courses that are on demand, which mean they're all pre-recorded. Think of it as more of a SaaS model. And customers can show up, basically swipe their credit card and take those courses, and they're all pre-recorded. We also have custom courses that we design for clients, and that's what we've done for a lot of the governments. It's what we've done for some particular blockchains. And we have live online, so it would be live courses. They could be half a day, they could be 3 days or 5 days, and we have a live instructor on Zoom with people. We also used to go live in person, and COVID dampened that quite a bit, but it's starting to pick up a little again too. We do that. Within all of that, we also do technical and non-technical. So technical training would be coding. How do I code on blockchain? How do I become in the industry as a coder? We absolutely train that. We love that. And it offers new careers to people that are either Web 2 developers or new to it, and it gives them a big opportunity. We also do non-technical, and that's for the people that are not coders that just want to understand it, all the way up to the first class, what is it, into how do I actually conceptualize and design a project so that I can work with coders to develop it. And we do all that. And all the clients I've mentioned they fall into all those buckets, but I want you to understand that a little bit. And look, we know that the headlines have been beating up cryptocurrencies every day, but blockchain continues to grow. So many enterprise businesses have departments, projects, departments and projects both, and they just continue to grow. Investment in the space continues to grow. So understanding why blockchain itself has value now and will into the future, which is even more important, it's kind of the foundation of our business at the crypto company. So I want to start with the past to illustrate a little bit of the future. And that is Web 1 to Web 2. Web 1, that's when you could publish. You could publish things on the internet, and anybody at the other end of the connection could read it. That was a big deal from not having that at all. The next thing was Web 2, which was, call it emails. You can exchange information back and forth. And doing that was a really big change and a huge sea change. And then as the internet grew, emails were just by the way. We all get them, frankly. We get too many of them, I'm sure. But the internet allowed all this exchange, which was great. What blockchain really is the exchange of value. That's when you can transfer values. Certainly, we can send money with a credit card or a PayPal over the internet, but we all know there's a lot of hacks. It wasn't really designed for it. We've certainly made it work, but blockchain was designed for the exchange of value. It's a really big concept to understand, and I call it programmable trust. That's what the blockchain does. It allows two parties to exchange value with each other without even having to trust each other. Quite honestly, they don't even need to know who each other is. It takes out the middleman, so you don't have to trust them either. There's been a lot of failings in that department. And also the middlemen, as the world goes now, they take a lot of fees. So we're able to either eliminate or at least minimize them a lot. The buzzword in the industry that people usually throw out there, and they're proud to walk away and let you figure out, immutable ledger. No doubt you know the two words, but I'm going to break it down a little bit. And I want you to think about it this way. If you've got a ledger, it usually lives on one person's system, or maybe it's a living doc that, Google Doc or such that multiple people are editing together. All that's really helpful, but all of them can be edited in hindsight. They're not immutable. They can be changed later. The immutable ledger on the blockchain, it can't be edited in hindsight. It's a really big deal. It means you can trust it. A new version or a change can be done, but think of it as, using an analogy, track changes. You can always see what existed at what moment in the form that it was, and then you can see the next one that was changed. But those track changes, lack of a better term, are always there on the blockchain. So I think that it's just a game changer. So the history of the ledger not being able to be changed creates trust between the parties that are using it now. And this was only meant to be a high overview to set the stage. The immutable ledger, it has use cases in just about every industry: the entertainment industry, healthcare, education, finance, farming, food supplies, and supply chains. Those are just some of the examples. And I'd suggest that while there has been some adoption of blockchain in all of those industries, the penetration into the industries has just begun. And I don't want to confuse that with going to begin, because it has already begun, but it is certainly the beginning. Maybe it's 1%, maybe not. And that gives you an idea of what's to come. And I believe that we are situated better than anyone to capitalize on the growth that is here. So let me give you getting into our business line a little bit. I think this is really powerful. All of the clients that I mentioned earlier, and that was just a small part of the list, they found us. That's right. We have never had a dedicated outbound sales force. That's just what we are in the process of building right now. So if you think about that, the limitless addressable market, I'd say near limitless to make it, to be totally truthful with it. But frankly, the addressable market is monstrous. It's just huge. And that's what's next for us. We're proud of our client list, our teachers and our classes. We now need to do them justice by having a dedicated outbound sales force with a massive list of potential clients for them to go after. So we originally brought the crypto company public to bring transparency to the crypto industry. We believe it to be really important, and most of the world doesn't understand what crypto and blockchain really is. There's hundreds or probably even thousands of private companies advancing some projects in this space right here as we sit. Some of those will prove to have delivered real value and will live on into the future, but many of those won't survive. As private companies, there's a mystery behind their curtains. We intentionally operate as a fully reporting public company to pull the curtain up over that mystery. We also intend on growing our consulting side. While we have done consulting upon request, we haven't actively marketed building actual strategies or products for our clients. We do believe the growth in this arena will serve us very well and have enhanced revenues available to us. Consulting contracts, as most of you would understand, can be very high ticket items. And again, I think we are situated as well as anybody, and maybe better than just about everybody, to capture this. And with this, I'm going to jump into what I'd probably put in the buzzword category again. And you've probably heard all these. I'm going to list off a half a dozen of them, and I'm going to go back and give you some short definitions. DeFi, metaverse, smart contracts, NFTs, AI capabilities with blockchain, and digital identities. But what are they really? DeFi, decentralized finance. And that's finance, the finance world that can live on the blockchain. And it will do that through smart contracts. So smart contracts, it's a programmable contract. If this, then that. And if I perform on one side of the contract and you perform on the other, then the exchange happens. And these are the exchanges that have to do with tracking the supply chain, with transferring Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, or just transferring information between us. And all those happen on smart contracts. And so you attach smart contracts in decentralized finance, and that is that industry. The products that are there will remind you a lot of the products in the traditional world. Again, I'll refer to some of the meltdowns we've had as centralized meltdowns. I would suggest that if smart contracts were involved in more of what went on there, there's a good chance it wouldn't have happened. Metaverse, it's coming. It's here in the first wave of people using it. It certainly has a lot of maturing to do, but make no mistake, we'll all be operating in different parts of the metaverse. Right now, using glasses, AI glasses and things like that is part of the metaverse. And as we move forward, those products will get better and the masses will accept them, because right now I don't think they're good enough, but they're coming. It's all happening very quickly. But you'll all end up either having offices in the metaverse or visiting people's offices in the metaverse, and it'll feel very real. And it's for gaming, it's for having offices, it's for having lounge rooms, and whether it be same industry or any rooms that might exist on Web 2 now will exist in the metaverse. Pretty big deal. And the NFTs, they're amazing. And most people, when they think of NFTs, let me start with, what is an NFT? Non-fungible token. A Bitcoin, there will be 21 million of them. They're all exactly the same. They're fungible with one another. Ownership of them is ones and zeros that are different, but what they actually are exactly the same. A non-fungible token, each one is unique and individual. And right now, last year, people learned a lot about them through artwork. You might have heard the big sale was $69 million for a piece of digital art that lived on an NFT. There's Bored Apes. There's lots of things that are changing hands of value that are NFTs. Well, there are some good use cases for that in the future. That's not the part that we're focused on. We're focused on the use cases for NFTs. And I'll give you an example. Let's just say I had 1,000 employees. I do not. Let's say I had 1,000 employees. And let's say I had a message I want to get out right now to 10 select people within that company. And I really wanted it to be kept secure. I could record a quick little video. I can attach 10 NFTs to it and send it to the 10 people I want. When I put it in their wallets, they have access to the video, but only them. You have to have that NFT in order to watch the video. I can also have scripted that NFT, so it's only good for 10 minutes or 1 hour or whatever I want. It's not forwardable. I can put all those things in the contract very easily. And then if that video is that sensitive, I can embed a little QR code in that video. So even if one of those 10 people filmed that with their iPhone and sent it off to someone else, I will always know which of those 10 it came from. Once again, we're programming trust. And that's just one small use case. NFTs, you will all be using them in short order, and they are really amazing. AI capabilities in blockchain. The AI that exists today has improved 1,000% from 60 to 90 days ago. We don't have time to get into that. It's amazing what got open sourced, and through that open source, these projects are coming, and they're absolutely amazing. And probably those changes of the last 90 days, you'll all be hearing about in the next 90 days. That's how quickly the snowball is going. Attach that with blockchain, and you've got something else pretty amazing. Digital assets. That same NFT concept can be yours. You are John Doe. You own your own identification, and you can let people in, and you can let people into whatever you choose. So I'm going to use, what happened a couple of years back when there was a big breach in the universities and access, and a bunch of records were forged. What if your token that you own yourself had your high school diploma on there, had the high school sports you were in, had anything you wanted to have in there, and it was done at the right time while you were earning those things? That's on the blockchain. That can't be changed. So if you're applying at a university, you can give them access to that, and they can go back there and see that. There will come a time where they will only look at the blockchain, because everything else can't be trusted. That time's in the distant future. It's not happening tomorrow, but the use cases for these things have already started to happen. Medical records, take the example I just gave. Think about it. For your medical records, same thing. They all live in one place. It's really, really kind of amazing what's coming. And so as you can tell, education is what we do. And a lot of that was a little bit of education in the industry, but I felt it was important for you to really see that, to understand what the crypto company is, and maybe where we're going. So it's important for you to see our disclaimer slide. So let me pull that one up. Forward-looking statement language is in there. Understand that this is we are public, and we respect all the rules with that. So back to some of the things we talked about. We've taught over 150,000 students, issued over 5,000 certifications, which is also, we believe, an asset that we have. It's called BTA certified, as in Blockchain Training Alliance, BTA certified. And many people have those certifications, and it helps them get jobs and careers, and that branding will continue. Fortune 500 clients, we've talked about that. And we've been training since 2017. To be clear, BTA was formed and started in 2017, very early mover in the space. I knew the people back then, but the crypto company purchased that company, Blockchain Training Alliance. We purchased 100% of them in April of last year. So it's been about a year and a half. US blockchain technology market. So here's where we are, right? We're in 2022. Look at the growth ahead of us. And this is by Grandview Research, by the way, but you've got almost an 85% CAGR between 22 and 2030 that's listed there. And it's pretty powerful. So the growth that they're showing is $1.5 trillion is what this comes out to be by 2030. It's a pretty monstrous market, and that's all blockchain technology. So I would suggest that what we do is critically important to that growth, and we'll be part of that growth. And I'd almost say that we're going to help that growth. Delivering our education to the level where we deliver it will absolutely help that growth. This is pretty much crypto. And I in the beginning of this, I really separated crypto from blockchain because it's very important to understand the differences, and we're focused on blockchain. But make no mistake, crypto is still very important. I think it'll take different values and forms than maybe what people are used to seeing, because it helps in the exchange of value that happens on the blockchain. But this is what describes the primary obstacles to greater institutional usage. And if you look at the top here, it's market trust or understanding of digital currencies. That's number one, and that's where we come in. So I think we are helping to break down the number one obstacle to growth. And that's why I felt that was very important to point out. Key players in the blockchain technology space. This is a list of some. Again, this is from Grandview Research, but quite honestly, you can point to the Fortune 100, and most of them are involved at some level now. You're all in the finance industry. You know how busy, you probably know how busy Fidelity is in the industry. They just launched a new Bitcoin investment product. I think it was yesterday, actually, or last week. And they're doing a lot. They've been out front for the whole time. So there's so much going on. It's kind of very exciting. And so the global technology market size last year, almost $6 billion, and this year 10. Estimates, again, Grandview Research. If you look at the percentage of growth there, I don't know, what is that, 80%, something like that? We haven't hit the hockey stick yet. We're not going to hit it for a year or two, I don't believe, and it might be a little longer. We're okay with that. But it's coming. And if at the level we're perched and situated to be the key educators in the industry now, I just think what we've got in the future ahead of us is just gonna be very exciting and very dynamic. And with that, Robert, I'll go to some Q&A if you like, and fill any holes, any questions that may have come up for you.
Absolutely. Well, Ron, firstly, thank you very much for your presentation today, and a little crypto 101 to for those that aren't aware. So my first question for you, company, fully reporting company, just curious where you're at from a revenue perspective. Can you give us some numbers, an idea of what the business is actually doing in that front?
Yes, I can. So we've been improving quarter over quarter. Our revenues are still on annualized or under $1 million. And it was the purchase of Blockchain Training Alliance that sort of started setting our pace for what's new. There's various reasons we didn't go directly into crypto, including we didn't want to, but there's other reasons for it because the industry, we really felt that the education thing was right. And the first thing we had to do was go back into the website and build it properly so we can scale SaaS on top of it, measure all the metrics, bring in the right people to start doing the SEO and advancements and bring a lot of PR around it. So we spent a lot of time and energy doing that. And the result of that is, yes, you're going to see quarter over quarter revenues growing, which we're thrilled about. But the revenues are still on that level.
Absolutely. I mean, is the main strategy going B2B? Because I can imagine the customer acquisition cost on an individual basis must be pretty high.
Yeah, and that is exactly right. You're right about that. Most of our efforts right now are B2B because of our resume and because we have access to them, and putting together the sales team enables that, as I'll call it, the low-hanging fruit for us because of who we are. But the SaaS, it takes more money and more time to do. So we consider that really important in the long run, even the recurring revenue model. But we're now focused on the sales force and going more B2B, which will support the other growing at the same time. And I think, doing all that through 2023, those are our goals for 23.
You mentioned at the top how, we're in this kind of crypto winter, flushing out, cleansing, insert your phrase here for crypto winter. I mean, how has that affected the company? I mean, are you seeing more or less demand, people wanting more information? What's been some of the takeaways from some of your existing clients and maybe those that are starting to look at getting more educated?
So, it's a great question, Robert. And from the outside, I would have thought we'd sort of found some negative implications by it, but we really haven't. And it's a little surprising to me, but happily. And when I think about it, I guess it's not that surprising. We're focused on the value that blockchain gives. And the failures that have happened have all had to do with investing in cryptocurrency, making returns of cryptocurrency. Some of the platforms that went down, it's because you can deposit it here and make 10%. And really, it's what they did with those deposits that created the problem. So it's kind of a different realm for us. So we found the institutions themselves have not slowed down. They're building products. It's really, really big. So I think in the long run, it's actually going to be good, because we've gone through those people that have been around this, and we're here from Mt. Gox, which happened in like 2013. It happened. The meltdown in the end of 2017 happened. Like, we've been here when many people woke up and said crypto's not going to survive. But if you just take the last couple of years, 2 years ago, institutions were not in this. They weren't, very few and not very apparent. Coinbase has been public for what, a little over a year and a few months. Like, even that event is really huge. And I love that they went public. They are a centralized exchange, much like FTX was, but being public, they had to be completely transparent. And that's worked out pretty well. They're still doing well. I am sure they make revenues off of trading. They have a couple revenue lines, but that's one of them. There's no doubt that got hurt. But as things grow, things were cleansed for them. And I think it's good for them. And the same thing happens for us. Those of us that get through this unscathed are going to be there sitting pretty for what's next. And I see us in an incredibly unique position to grow with that.
Absolutely. So, my final question for you today is looking at the competitive landscape, looking at other, in essence, you're, the crypto education company, right? So who are the other players in the space? Are there other players? What does that landscape look like right now? You mentioned earlier that, you haven't even, you're in the process of starting to build out the sales team, and most of the income or most of the revenues have been more incoming requests, right? So I'd love to learn more there.
Yeah. So first of all, use the term crypto training. We do train some of that, but it's a small part of our business. We're blockchain training. And the reason I really wanted to point that out is when I think of the competition, there's lots of training places out there that teach you how to trade crypto. We don't compete with them. That's not our world, right? So when it comes to blockchain and understanding and potentially building projects or building a career in the industry, actually getting a job, there's not many. I don't know of any other public company that's doing it. I think we're the only public company doing it. And there are a couple of competitors out there, but to my best knowledge, they're competing on the retail side, the consumer side. I don't know anybody that's competing on the enterprise side. You certainly have big consulting companies going out for consulting business there, right? But not on just training, right? We can go into a C-suite because the lower level management has been screaming, let's do something in blockchain, but the C-suite's like, why am I bothering with that? And we'll go spend a few days with them, and teach them the foundations and teach them what's going on in their own industry regarding blockchain, why they should care. I just don't know of anyone else that's doing that. And that's why I think we have a pretty unique proposition in an exponentially growing market.
Absolutely. Now, final question for you today in terms of the business model itself. How does that work? Is there a recurring aspect to it, or is it one shot? All right, we got all the tools, got the education. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, right now I think I probably got to answer it by telling you it's one-shot sales, but I got to back that up with how many people come back for more and more and more. And we do have plans, in the future in regards to a recurring revenue model. As we are who we are in the industry, there's certainly that there. So that would all be in the works because we are focused on that. It's just not what we're doing right now.
Very good. All right. Well, Ron, with that, thank you so much for your presentation here today. Really do appreciate it. To everybody watching and engaging with us, participating, thank you as well, and enjoy the rest of the event.